lovely people. I'm Sinead, and welcome to another Dolls and Dollhouses. And today I had planned to get started on the high rise, but I've run into a little bit of a problem. My printer has run out of ink, and I won't have ink again until the weekend or at some point, should it show up like it's supposed to. So, I also have a box of kits, which I was going to work in throughout the year. And so we're going to get started with one of those to kind of fill that gap and put the high rise off for right now, because I want to print my wallpapers and stuff, and I can't print it without ink. So, yeah, let's turn the camera around and get started working on a kit. So I thought we would put together a Jean Nordquist, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, dollhouse kit. This one is the Reed dollhouse kit. These come with great instructions and all the parts that you need. The kit I have currently is available with interior wallpaper, which when I bought this several years ago, it did not have. But it does have the graphics for the outside, and they're really cool looking. Well done. It's not a very complicated build. And in an effort to not just give away her instructions, I've got them sitting over to the side. So she has us starting with gluing the floor in, and I've done one of these before, but I'll be honest, I cannot remember how I did it. I remember it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to take a second and go over the instructions and see where I'm at. I was reading over the instructions and discovering that I was supposed to stop and paint at various points along the way, which of course I don't actually want to do. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's not want. Don't have time and space to do. So I'm gluing on. This is the base right here. And there are supposed to be these two little supports on the bottom so that I guess it's not sitting flat on the floor or counter or wherever it is you place these. Mantle? I don't know. Shelf? And I'm going to try and line those up, sort of. But I also glued some other pieces in place while sitting here, and it looks like, even with a weight in the center of it, you can see the wood did not clamp down properly. So I'm going to get a toothpick, stick some more glue in there, trip over some things. I think we're going to get out the clamps and use those. So just try sticking the glue where it'll go in. I don't want to wipe it off. I want it to go in. Okay. I'll wipe it off after I've got it clamped. See if, well, my clamp is put together backwards. From the last project attempts, right? You can tell how long it's been since I picked up the clamps. There we go. Kind of in the right space. Let's see. Well, guess it did. Kind Kind of wanted to catch that support in there. There we go. That's what I want to see. All right. Yeah, we're going to move over and do this on both sides. One on each edge. Get another clamp going. Okay. I feel like we got pretty good adhesion there. Run the toothpick along in there maybe if we can. Definitely going to need to get a paper towel over here. Maybe get it wet. I think that'll probably work better for us. Try not to get everything wet. I think I did just squirt half the stuff on the desk. Wait, that's not easy to get in there. We may have to do that thing I hate to do later, and that's sand it off. This has always been my secret here to not having to sand so much later, is to get in there with a wet paper towel and take off as much as you can. And in this particular case, if I'm going to use acrylic paints, it's not likely to show. So let's flip this over and see what we're going to have to do. Yep, you see that there is a space in there. We're going to have to do the same thing to this side. So I put a weight right in the center, and it just kind of bowed up around the object I stuck there. I am trying to find the toothpick. Did I throw it out? We'll just get another one. No, I didn't. Here's a... It's trying to get away from me, though. I feel like that looks like caulking. Kind of cool. Now we're going to mess it up. Ooh, yes. It went right down into the crack perfectly. And where's... There they are. Ooh, these are backwards too. And covered in dust. Didn't mean to disappear on you there. It got difficult over here. Who knew picking something off the floor? Picking up something off the floor would be so challenging. Okay, these. Oh, this is not in line. I'm gonna have a spacer, maybe. So we put. Oh, let's go from this side, and let's just leave that unclamped. Yeah. There we go. Don't fall. I've been doing a lot of printing for Mudwood Cottage, and that's part of the reason why I ran out of ink. The other part was that I was low. And I thought I had backup ink still in the drawer, and I didn't. Let's see if we can get this where you can see what I'm doing. These clamps don't have a lot of applied pressure. So that's a really neat, tidy bead of glue. Like I said, it looks like caulking. So we're gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess with trying to take it off. And then we're gonna take this whole floor and set it aside. and let it dry. And what I've done here is I've done the floor supports for the second floor. So the second floor goes right in there. And we have a roof to put together. So this is the roof, and this gives it the 45 that it needs. So I'm not sure. You glue this one on first. Put your angle in there first. I don't know. I can't remember how I did it before because it's been too long. I like did that one, the other one, right after I got the kit. That tells me I better get this glued up quickly because I might have to slide that. And get plenty of glue in this one. And well, the camera is making use of the, or I should say the tripod is making use of the 1, 2, 3 blocks that I would normally use to make sure this was square. It's like you could never have enough. So trying to there you can see. Oh, and I didn't put any glue on that. Okay. Oops. Let's put glue on this. And reapply some glue down here. Using the desktop to make sure that I've got the end even. And then pushing down that way. Make sure that's snug up in there. Because it doesn't help the support if it's not making contact with both sides. We have glue skidge on both sides, so that's a good sign. Pulling it apart's not a good sign, which is what I just did. Okay, we're gonna stop messing with it. There. Move it right there. Chimneys. The chimney, see how it sets on the roof there on that side, this little V, and put, you know, I don't actually know what this is called on a chimney or what its purpose is. I designed it into the chimney I made for the printable fairy houses that are in my shop, but I don't know what it's for. So if you know, let me know. It may just be a design element that I just like the looks of. So I'm trying to get it centered. And then we've got the next section of chimney to glue on there. And I kind of wish I had another clamp, but I don't. We just used them all on the floor. Try and get one little bit of glue. Sec. Kind of looks centered. We're going to say it's good enough. Look at it from this way. No, it's not centered. This is also not cut square. I don't know if they've changed how they're doing things, how they're making things, because it's been so long since I bought these that they could be running their business completely differently than they were when I bought this. And there are so many things that would make a more precise kit. And I don't know, maybe they like the character. Maybe it's more like the antiques we're mimicking, in which case you would want to continue with the hand making of the pieces that aren't quite square. And it gives character to the finished product. I'm going to have to buy another, oh darn, kit from them and see if they're still making them the same way. You know, where the pieces are maybe don't line up exactly. I was sanding off part of the front porch support because it was going to make the posts stick way out. So I was taking off some material so that it was less of an issue. And, you know, and that's an option. You can mess around and sand these off until they're square to your liking. This is so sloped. I don't even know if you can see that in the camera, but the top of the main chimney has an angle to it like that. Anyway, like I said, I don't mind. It gives it character, and it does make it more like the antiques that we're mimicking in a lot of ways. So I'm going to put our chimneys aside. Now, this is the front door surround, and I put a W on there for against the wall because these pieces right here that hold the bottom of the post are not the same, and I was trying to make it to where they didn't push off the wall and make our posts really weird. So I need to look at printout for the front and get an idea here. So this is going to go over the door. Let's see if you can, I need to move this up. And these will go, see I got little W's. You probably can't see that, but I did. I put little W's against the wall. And there's a hole all the way through. And my guess is that's for adjustment. Oh, maybe this is supposed to go all the way up there. It does look like it. And that means that it is supposed to be flush with the bottom. Ooh. Okay. We now know what we're aiming for. We're going to try and get it square. Don't want to glue it up on top of that, though. So we'll try and keep the sides that I've put the W's on going the same way. So in this case, up. Maybe I should put them down. That way I can use the desktop as a way of making sure that it's kind of level. I don't know. Flush. I think it's going to take more glue than that. It feels very loose in the joint. Okay, so we're going to put the W down. Oh, and I can also use the lines on this mat to help me try and keep it square. Ooh, now we got too much glue. All right, that's just way too much glue. That's better. I'm going to put some glue in the bottom of this. Probably going to end up with too much glue. And my W goes down. But hey, this time it squeeges out the bottom. And I feel like I got enough then. Maybe. Okay. Wipe off the excess there. Yes, I'm trying to eyeball straight. Close. Okay, we're gonna let that set up. Let's see, so we've got that roof. I wonder if it's really close. Okay, I think we're gonna have to just work over the top of that. Don't bump it. So this goes on the front. This design feature goes on the front of the house. So we're gonna hopefully get it to stay in place. Put enough glue on there, right? And we're gonna pause and let the glue set up and all the excitement over somebody coming in the house. Well, after settling the dog down, I looked at what was going on here because it was time to put the wall in that goes in here. They call it the back wall maybe, or the front wall, it doesn't matter. It's the one that gets the graphic and stuff. And realized that there had been a mistake, and I didn't know if it was me reading the instructions wrong or whether it was a mistake in the instructions, and it turned out to be a mistake in the instructions. So even though I bought this years ago, something to be aware of to dry fit your pieces. They had put this square piece right here as the wall, and they had put the narrower piece that I had glued down, you know, as the floor, as the base. And this is the width that the front wall needs to be, and as you can see, this isn't the right width on either side. And so I quickly grabbed up what I had clamped together and started trying to pull it apart, and had to add water and go get a chisel so that it would, you know, pop apart without losing too much material onto one side or the other. This right here is a piece of granite that's I use for leather working, and nice flat surface, great for weighing things down, and I should have been using it to glue the piece together, shouldn't I? But I didn't. But since the boards were wet and had glue on them, I scraped the glue off. I then squished them underneath this piece of granite so that they would dry flat, hopefully. Oh, that don't drop that on your toe. And so here they are. The floor has some little details of mess, but we're going to glue this side down. We're going to drop it first. We're going to glue this side down to the base. I've already got the feet glued on to the proper base, and I may have to do some cleanup with sandpaper, but it does look like it worked. We don't feel warped. No, it doesn't have too much of a bow, which was what I was concerned with it being that wet, is that we'd end up with it really curved, like worse than it was when I was trying to glue it together, when I was trying to glue this onto it. So, as you can see, this is the same width as the floor, and the other thing that needs to be checked is that it needs to be the same height as the side walls, and the base is not. So that's what clued me in, is when I stuck the base up against the wall, I was like, that's not right. And, you know, the pieces are labeled on the thing, on the instructions, and there's just a mix-up in how they labeled it and what they said what the piece was. So dry fit your pieces, just in case they haven't caught that. Okay, I think we've got the base ready to go here. I've got the floor piece glued on. I went ahead and used the piece of granite. There is a little bit of a gap, but that is because of the having to peel it off of the other application where it got stuck. I also sanded this, got the glue off of it for the most part. It did have this fill in it already. So I'm going to put this on the inside, and this has some spots where scraping the glue off damaged the wood. So I'm going to put that on the outside and cover it with the graphic. And so we're going to have to glue our pieces together, and I might use the floor as a spacer here. Here we go. Let's see how well this goes. I almost put it on there the wrong way. Okay. I've done it again. Turned around. There we go. Okay, and we put this on this side. So I think instead of applying it to the base, I'll apply the glue to the wall itself. Get enough on here. So when I stopped filming yesterday, I was also, after I ran around prying it apart, yeah, I had to run out to the garage to get a chisel because nothing I had in here was strong enough to pry the pieces apart. I discovered that my light was dead because it's that time of year and it's really dark and moist and anyway, we don't have a lot of light in here, so I have to use auxiliary light, and thus the being sure I'm facing the light so you can see what's going on. And yeah, it was dead, and I was like, well, that's another reason to stop. Besides, you can't continue on with the process if you have got to wait for your pieces to dry back out anyway. So I was like, well, we're going to charge the light, and we're going to get everybody back together, flat and all that. Okay, so that should, okay, I think once I've got the pieces on here, I might be able to clamp it. I did not. Ooh, that was a close one. So I left a gap here, and I think the back of the house is going to hang over on that side because I'm not exactly square, and I didn't leave the right amount of space. And I'm using the fast grab again. Not actually necessary, I don't think, but it certainly helps when you're trying to get this done for video. I think any of the PVA glues would work, though. Hey, and you're working with wood, maybe wood glue. Yeah. Yeah, it's really emphasizing that I'm not square on there. And I don't know if that's because I it slipped when I stuck the weight on it, or if it's because I actually stuck it on there crooked. Again, not really that big a deal. We are going to put 2 clamps, I think. I like to get it at both ends of the deal. Okay, so we're flush there. So the graphic goes across all the way and covers the side here too. Got it flush down here. And we're going to leave that to dry for a minute while waiting on the glue to set up so you can see where we've gotten to on this. And I'm not going to apply these graphics during this video because I don't want to wait on the paint to dry, and it definitely has to be painted. So this is the goal. This is what the house should look like. Things like applying the chimneys are, you don't have to glue them in place. You don't have to glue the roof in place. I glued the roof in place on the other kit I did, and I regret it. First of all, because I glued it on backwards. Not a big deal. It just means that my little dormer window is out the wrong side. I guess wrong is, shouldn't be using that word. It's out the side opposite what it was pictured as. There is no wrong. So the graphic for the front is interesting. They apparently scanned an old dollhouse, and it's on here just slightly askew, which just adds to that whole age perception. And the sides are mirror image of each other. I also wanted to show my other kit. So this kit came with interior wallpaper, and I would really like to have that on the second one, but if I don't, maybe I can come up with something. The floor is still removable. I did leave that to where I could take it out. I painted the ceiling white. The roof, as I said, doesn't come off, and it's got its little dormer, and the chimney is attached. And there's the front. And I thought it was interesting that we had the lace curtains here on the front door, and then the graphic on the inside has the front door over here, and then just an archway here, which I suppose you could have cut that out and put the illusion of another room. That probably would have been, that would have been a fun thing to do with it, but I didn't. And anyway, that's what this one turned out like. Pretty simple designs on this. This one had less of a porch overhang. It's just a little piece of wood on the front and no arch or anything like that. But I think they have, well, there's at least 3 different kits, and they're easy to put together, and they look really cute. And hopefully I'll eventually have someplace I can set them up. Right now they just kind of end up tucked here and there. But hey, this one's going to finally be put together. Okay, the floor just slides in like so. If I want to do something here, if I can't get printables from them, then I will come up with some kind of carpet printable probably, and put that on there and do the same thing I did before, just paint the underside. That's what fall out as I try to show you the next part. And I am not going to glue on my roof this time so that we don't have those issues. So it goes on like so, and I did a fairly good job of lining up the dormer roof here with the lines of the wall below. So you got to go back far enough that it looks like the wall just continues up through the roof, or you don't have to, but that's what I was trying for. I succeeded, yay. And then your chimneys set up there, and again, I debating about whether or not to glue the chimneys on. But they won't get glued on until they're painted. And I went ahead and cut out the graphic so you could see that. So it might need to be trimmed up just a little bit to fit neatly on here. Looks like it's a little bit long. Maybe. I will wait until we're painted to make that decision. And then this goes on. Set that down. And your corners do show. So keep that in mind. It kind of looks like the corners, you know, of the house. Older houses that I've lived in, they put a cap on here that is a single piece of wood, and it's so cool. It's usually decorative, but it's a sacrificial piece of wood that protects the corners of your house. And you can change that out if rot happens because of rain or whatever. Having experienced that here in this house, I know that firsthand. It's good to have that sacrificial piece of wood on there. But the old houses, it was a single piece of milled wood that had the corner cut into it, and it looked really cool. So you could actually add that to this dollhouse, or you could just keep in mind that when you're painting, that paint is going to show. And what they did, it looks like, is paint everything, like the base, the roof, and the under a dark blue, so that it had a kind of unified appearance. And I may do the same thing. And then after I've painted this, oops, that goes to the wall, porch, and glued everything in place, I'll put that on. And let me move that up so you can actually see it. So yeah, there's the porch piece. I will glue that in place once I get to that stage. I am looks like going to need to sand the bottom. You get it to the same, I want to say same height. Anyway, that's where I'm going to stop this week, and I hope you've had fun watching me put together this kit from Jean Norquist, and check out her stuff. I will put a link in the description to her website. She's been doing this for quite a while. It says Doll Lady 10 at AOL. You know they've been there a while when they have an AOL. I will see you in the next one. I hope you have a great day and a terrific week. And bye.